In Henry Stern's picture, I've called it the symbol of freedom because the Statue of Liberty was the symbol of freedom for the people on that ship coming into the harbor that day. Henry was a young boy, but he knew the significance of that site.
I had taken the camera that day, and after we interviewed Henry, he wanted us to go down to his office for him to show us the video from the newscast where he was interviewed after finding his cousin. And so we were just sitting down there, and I said, well, let me get my camera out and maybe just take a few pictures. And I was so glad I did, because just the facial expressions when he was remembering that meeting and the video playing in the background, it just turned out to be a real special moment, because you could tell it was not something that was staged or planned, but just his honest reaction to that memory of that day.
But I remember going on the ship. It was the SS Washington. It was a tremendous ship. And we sailed from Hamburg, and we stopped in England and Ireland, and I've got Wales, and anyway, it took about 10 days to get to New York. The day we were coming into New York, I didn't know what to expect. I think I remember looking out and seeing the beautiful lady on the island. But the freedom of choice, a freedom of where you wanted to go, who you wanted to associate with, who you could play with, is something that just was not known in Europe, all over Europe. On Sunday morning, November the 20th, 2004, at 4:30 in the morning, I couldn't sleep. My wife was ill at the time. I fixed me a cup of coffee, and I went down to my computer. And I did a lot of days. I typed in my grandmother's name, Ida, I-D-A, Stern, S-T-E-R-N. I hit enter and got a hit. A couple of hours later, he called me. And he said, Henry, are you sitting down? I said, yeah, why? He said, I'm in that picture. If you'll see my family on the wall, and then look on the face of the computer screen, Fred and I are meeting for the first time. It's an unbelievable experience.
Agnes told me in words that made me think of being resolved to the fact that she was trapped and she would either die or she would have a shower. So I wanted to show her sort of looking up in the picture with the lines creased a little bit between her eyebrows, showing concern, but almost a look of resolve, ready to accept whatever happened to her. It also shows us that she had a lot of courage, a lot of strength, and I wanted to show that in the picture.
This was the time when we were taken to the showers again. By that time, I was aware of it, that it could be water or it could be gas. So I didn't know what to expect really. Am I going to be selected for work, or are they going to kill me? We got to the shower, and the fact is, we looked at each other, my cousin and myself. We locked eyes. And then I closed my eyes, and I thought, what will be, will be. There is nothing I can do about it. Then a torrent of hot water hit my body. I really wanted to scream. I wanted to yell, but no sound came out of my throat.
And yet, when we went down and interviewed her in Mobile, she was telling us her story, and she kept bringing up the thirst. And I think it was the first time I had actually heard that from the survivors. We had heard about hunger and a lot of the common experiences that they had, the hard work, and yet Agnes was, for the first time, we had heard about the thirst and how horrible that can be. And in telling us her story, she mentioned it 3 or 4 or 5 times, and so that just became a natural idea.
Well, the thirst really started when they pushed us into the cattle cart like sardines in a box. And of course, it developed a terrible thirst. After the first day in the car, I thought I'm going to lose my mind. And I believe that a lot of people felt the same way like I did, because we didn't have a drop of water.